Hey everybody, it's me, it's Undead Viking. I'm here with another video review. Today's review is, well, for lack of a better term, it is kind of special for me due to the fact that I'm going to be reviewing a game that was created by, or designed by, Scott Nicholson. It's Going, Gone from Stronghold Games. For those of you who don't know, Scott Nicholson had Board Games with Scott, a video review website and series that I should, well, he didn't solely inspire me, but it was the greatest influence on me to be a board game reviewer. And so, and I've said this a few times before on podcasts and reviews, but if you like what I do and you like the reviews that I do, or even if you hate the reviews that I do, you can probably blame it all on Scott, because I watched what he did and I was completely fascinated by it. I enjoyed it immensely, and to this day I kind of hold him in like the highest regard as far as the board game reviews, and his level of both excellence and interaction and what have you is what I strive to achieve with what I do. And then he doesn't do reviews anymore, which makes me sad. I mean, he does one every once in a while. He did one for his own game, which was kind of cool, but he has gone on and he is a professor of games, basically, and he talks about gamification and things like that. And if you can, like, I would highly suggest that if you can track down podcasts that he's been on, or he did a recent like hour-long video of just him answering questions people had. He's very entertaining. He's very knowledgeable, and I would strongly suggest checking out what Scott has done, and go back and watch some of his old videos too. I mean, the D. Mocker video is excellent. One of my favorite video reviews of all time is his Fury of Dracula video. It's like one of the very first ones of his I ever watched, and it was just excellent. There was one that he did for, I'm not going to be able to think of the name of it right now. Oh, dang it. Defenders of the Realm. Check that one out at the very beginning. The coolest thing, and I'm going to talk about the game here in just a little bit, and I'll show you how to play, and I'll tell you what I think. But the coolest thing that I always thought that board games, that Scott Nicholson did with Board Games with Scott, was that he never allowed himself to get into a rut. He was always trying to change things, always trying to do different things, always trying to come up with a different way to entertain the viewer and educate the viewer as well. So, Scott, I don't know if you'll watch this or not, but I've said this to you. We've exchanged emails a few times and what have you. So thanks again for everything, and thanks again for the really awesome game. Stronghold Games was kind enough to send this to me, and I played it now several times with my family, with my friends, at board game conventions, and I've had a blast every single time. So there you go. You know what I'm going to say about the game, but let me show you how to play. It's not going to take long at all. The game is very simple, and then we'll come back and I'll tell you exactly what I think about the game, and maybe at some point you'll figure out whether or not it's a game you'll want to add to your collection. Alright, Going, Gone by my personal board game hero, Scott Nicholson. Alright, this is definitely going to be one of the easier games when we're ever going to show how to play, but I think that's one of the things about Going, Gone that is really cool about it. It's simplicity, but the depth of the game. And I'm not talking about depth of the game as far as like the rules and the rules behind the rules, whatever like that. I'm talking about like the enjoyment and the interaction and what have you. But I'll go more into that with my conclusion. Basically what you have is you have these 5 cups. You set them up in this method. There are definitely variations, you know, people putting them in lines or whatever, but the standard rules are that you set them up like this. And then you have this deck of cards. And in this deck of cards, on the backs, you will see there are like these things that you're going to be bidding on. Gramophones, works of art, board games, and comics, and you'll also notice that there is a flag on the top, meaning that's the country of origin. In this case, it would be Germany. German board games. Who would have thought, huh? But anyway, so the thing is that when you're collecting these, and here's toys and German toys. But the pictures are all the same. And what you're looking for is you're looking to get sets of these, either by sets of the flags or sets of each one. So you could have a set of, here, let me grab another German one. So like, here's German baseball cards, here's German toys, and here's German board games. And those three are a set, and they'd be worth a certain amount of points or bucks, as the game calls it, at the end of the game. Now, you could just go with the type of item as well. So like you could say, like, these three are all the baseball cards, and you can see it's instead it's a German flag. I believe is that Chinese flag? I believe so. I could be wrong. And an Italian flag. So there you go. So anyway, you pick one person to be the first person that's the auctioneer, and you take this deck of cards and you deal them out to in front of each cup, or just make sure that you can designate which one goes where. So like so there's those baseball cards. Let's see, we got another baseball card. Wow, another baseball card. This is not very random. I did shuffle these, I swear. Board games, comics, and now you get to pick two more that'll have one more card each. So let's Italian priceless works of arts, and another priceless work, German priceless work of art. Okay, so you take these cards, put them to the side. There are 49 cards in this deck. You're dealing out 7 each time, and the game lasts 7 rounds. Pretty easy. The auctioneer gets this paddle. The paddle is actually also the rule book. You can see there's all the rules on either side and tells you exactly how to play. You'll also notice that right here is the table telling you how much each set, what they're worth, which is important because during the game you get only 25 of these cubes to start with. And I have all the cubes out right now, so don't count them and say, hey, there's more than 25. But technically you get 25 cubes to start with, but there's 40 cubes of each color. And as the game progresses, you'll be spending those cubes. In order to get some back, you'll be turning in your sets at the end of rounds for this, and to get cubes back so you can continue to bid. And so the game starts, and the auctioneer has this paddle, and you notice how the paddle can just fit over the top like that. And basically that prevents people from putting cubes into this, because that's how you bid. And so the game happens just by the auctioneer has to count, holds this paddle, grabs their cubes in their hand, and that's kind of one of the things about being the auctioneer. The other players are able to use both their hands to drop, but you only have one. Or technically, I guess you could put that down, but how we play, you have to hold it. So, and then you're dropping the cubes in for the things that you decide that you want. And everybody else is going to be doing this at the exact same time. And the auctioneer gets to count down from 10 to 0. But the one stipulation is that they have to count at a steady pace, meaning that they could count 10, 9, 8, 7. They could count 10, 9, 8, or they could count 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. You know, and it's up to them. And nobody knows how the auctioneer is going to count except for the auctioneer who decides. But anyway, so they're counting down 10, 9, 8, 7, and then what everybody's doing is they're taking their cubes and they're dropping them in the spots where they think they want them. And obviously you can see the cubes can bounce around and whatever. And I'm not really counting down to 10, but then once they get down to 0, they say going, going, gone, and they put that on the top, meaning that the cubes are down. Now, some people have complained, as you can see, my little paddle holder thing here is getting a little creased. When you get to the game, and I strongly suggest you do because it's a lot of fun, but more on that in a little bit, just play with the paddle like this. And put it over it. If you hold onto this handle, it's going to bend on you. So just grab it by the corners. It's pretty simple. Anyway, so after that's done, you just sit there and look at each thing. Like, you know, in this one, only red bid. So red would get this Wizard Comics. And they lose those 4 cubes. They go back into the bank. But, like, when you get over to, like, here, you can see that blue bid 3 for that card. And they'd get it. But then white and green also put cubes in there, but they get those back. They get, you know, they don't take their money or whatever. And so, but blue would, of course, lose that, and they get those cards. Now, in this situation, like you can see here, for this baseball card, you can see that there are 3 green and 3 red. And so the white goes right back there, like so. And then these two are tied. And the person that decides the tie is the auctioneer. Whoever's the auctioneer gets to pick, of those two people, who wins. They have to pick somebody. They can't just say, nobody gets it. But they have to pick somebody. And so then, obviously, that's kind of one of those decisions where, you know, you kind of have to weigh who's ahead or who you think's ahead or maybe who bought you lunch that day. So, and you just go ahead and you pick. So maybe they picked red to get it. And so, you know, they give red that. Maybe green didn't give them a good parking spot or something. Who knows? And that's how the game progresses. And after you handed out all the cards. Oh, also, if like nobody bids on a card, it just goes to the back of the box. It isn't used. And then you get to the next 7 cards. You put those down and you play another round, and you play until you're out of these cards. At the end of each round, everybody who has cards in their possession have the option of turning them in for the points. And it should be noted that you can't turn in something double, meaning that you can't turn something in for a flag set and also for, like, say, a comic book set. You can only pick one or the other. So you can't count them double. But anyway, you go 7 rounds. Every buck that you still have, you know, every cube that you still have is worth 1 point. Each set is worth the points that are listed here, and whoever has the most bucks at the end of the game is the winner. There's tons of variants out there. You can make up your own stuff. This is just one of those games that's like, it's technically kind of like a party game, but it's definitely just a game that inspires people to crowd around the table as you play, because it's a lot of fun to watch people kind of go crazy throwing their cubes into the cups. That's how you play going on, but let me tell you exactly what I think of the game. I will say this, I would be completely remiss if I did not reference other reviewers that have had an effect on me. You know, and obviously Tom Vassell is one. Joel Eddy, who I consider to be a close personal friend, he is another. And if you haven't ever checked out Ender's Game's written reviews on Board Game Geek, I would strongly suggest that you do, because those are probably the best written reviews you'll ever take the time to read. So there you go. Going on. You know, the game is so simple. You really can't review it in a way that, like, you would classically review a game. Oh, I like this mechanic, I like that mechanic, whatever. When I saw the game, when I saw what the game was about, I knew it's one of those games that once somebody tells you how to play, it's like you either feel in your head, it's like, wow, I really want to play that, you know, or you're like, whatever. And by and large, the vast majority of people that I've explained the game to are like, I really want to play that. And the cool thing about the game is that when you play it, and you play it like I have a gaming convention that I host at my local game store, and I brought this game, and it's the first game I set out, and I got people together and we started playing it. And the first thing that happens is that it draws a crowd, and people just start moving in because by nature the game itself is very it invokes an excellent response out of the people that are playing it. People are yelling and dropping and you know, trying to move their cubes around. Cubes are falling out of the cups. They're spilling on the floor. They're going everywhere, and everybody's laughing and having a good time. And then, you know, the board goes down, and then at that moment, everybody's just like, you know, there's like this wonderful like 10, 9, 8, 7, you get 3, 2, 1, and like you can feel like the fever pitch in your head, because you're like, whether you're either just dropping the cubes wherever you come what may, or you're watching what other people are doing and trying to like figure out what they're doing and like doing the last, you know, drop or anything like that. And there's this like cool buildup of energy and excitement that everybody gets, and then it like culminates, and when the card slams down, it culminates, and then immediately you're like, ah, like, or it's like, oh, you do, or it's like, yeah, I got it, you know. And there's this immediate like reaction that everybody has, and then you flip the thing up and you start counting out the cubes, and like you start divvying out the cards, And that's like probably the one thing about it that I don't like, is that, you know, and there's nothing you can do about this, is that the whole, you know, divvying out the cubes and everything like that, it's kind of like a slightly laborious process, especially when you got like 6 people and you're playing it. But that's such a minor complaint on my end that it's really not worth, almost not worth bringing it up. But, you know, it's like you dump out the cubes, you split them up, you hand them out, you take your cards, you look at them, you figure out what you want, you flap down the cards for the next round, and you start it up and you do it again. And as soon as the game is done, there's going to be a crowd of people, especially, like I said, if you're playing this at a convention or at a game store or something like that, there's going to be a crowd of people. And it's one of those things where it's like, maybe a couple people, I want to go play this, or I got to go to this, I have this event coming up, and you have other people, it's like, well, I'll take that spot, I want to play the game. And it has that wonderful ability of getting everybody excited about the game. And it's truly, it kind of, in a weird way, it reminds me of a less violent game of Pit, if you've ever played the game Pit, where people are screaming and yelling and trying to hand off cards and whatever. It reminds me of that kind of tense atmosphere of, you know, like everybody, the frenetic moving, and then bam, it's done, and then you kind of regroup and you take a deep breath and you figure out what you're doing, and then it's like, you know, and it's a game that it lasts like 15-20 minutes, so it doesn't overstay its welcome, and it's that, I wouldn't even call it really a filler, because as soon as you get done playing it, you want to play it again, and as soon as you get done playing, you want to play it again, and so it's more of an atmospheric game, if you will, and but it is highly entertaining the entire time. You know, if you have a large family that likes gaming, this is kind of a must-buy. If you have a large gaming group and then who can just not take themselves so seriously for a little while, it's a must-buy. There are like 100 variants out there already. People have posted, Scott's posted them, and so on and so forth. This is a game that also, like, the very first time we played it, my buddy Craig started suggesting variants right away. It's like, you know, this game would be fun if we did this. This game would be fun if we changed it and did this. And that's one of the cool things about the game too, is that it's so malleable, it's so changeable that, like, you can make it into whatever you want. You can put the cups in a different order. You can actually make a kind of a dexterity game, bouncing the cubes in the cups. You know, stuff like that. And it's, like I said in the intro, it's a lot of fun. My wife and my daughter like playing it. We play it 3-player a lot, and it's, you know, I mean, you have to I have to tell my daughter, it's like, okay, you have baseball cards. You want the baseball cards, and it's funny because my daughter will just pick up a giant stack of cubes and just drop them in there, and I'm like, okay, you're getting the baseball cards. You know, but you know, but it's one of those things where it's I can sit down and I can play this on family and game night, and we all have a good time. And but it isn't like a feeling of a competitive feeling, and that you don't feel like you have to win to have a good time, if you know what I mean. So there you go. Going on. You know, the people have complained about the components. You know, they've said that, like, the paddle, like this little handle breaks. Just don't hold it by the handle. Just hold it like this and put it down. You know, nothing's going to happen to it. If you try to hold it by the handle and put it down, yeah, it's cardboard. You're flipping it around. It's gonna snap on you. So, I mean, other than that, I have no complaints about the game whatsoever. So, going on. It is in stores now. You can find it. You can pick it up. It's everywhere. Check out some of the, like, the just the in-play videos, and you can kind of get that feeling of, like, the excitement and the interaction. And you'll know if it's a game you think you'll have fun. I knew going in I was going to have a blast playing this game, and I absolutely did. So there you go. Going on. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. As always, I appreciate your time. And until next time, this is Undead Viking. You have an awesome day. Bye-bye now.